How you feeling? Yeah.
Welcome to our AT&T Thanks Sound Studio. I love it because you just did it for the gram one time.
That's
With that,
right.
you definitely did it
That's
for the
it.
gram.
Got to do it for the gram. How you guys feeling?
How's life going?
Life's going great. Life has been amazing this year. Obviously, I put out some new music. I have a
Right.
new single out called "Better with You,"
Right.
and it's been taking the country by storm. Where we have a practically sold out tour around the country. Um, doing a
Who's going to the show tonight?
You guys going?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
So we got like 3 stops left. Actually, it's
Yeah,
almost
it's coming
over.
to the end,
but
right?
but it's been incredibly fun.
So you were on a little break for a little while, and
Yeah.
what was your, I guess, what did you want different with this tour versus your last one?
I think, I mean, it had been, like you said, three and a
Right.
half, 4 years. I had time to sort of think about it and think what I wanted to do and think about what I wanted to do. And I knew that I wanted to play some new music, but
Definitely.
I also knew I had to play a lot of the oldies, right?
Oh, yes.
And
Don't worry, that's coming later.
Yep.
Don't worry.
And I think for me this time around, I wanted a little bit more of a modern look visually.
Right.
So I kind of pared down what's happening on stage. So it's actually just me, my drummer and guitar player, which is a very sort of modern take on a
It's
band.
kind of intimate, too.
It's intimate, but it's not. It actually has the presence. I mean, it's intimate in the sense that it's the venues are, we're playing like at the Fillmore tonight, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of interaction with the audience, but it has this feel of a big, big show because we
Nice.
have visually these huge LED walls on stage surrounding the
Ooh.
band.
Like
And
that.
put a lot of time and effort into the lighting aspect of the show. So it's visually as appealing as it is musically, and so we
Right.
spent a lot of time on that as well as the music.
Right. So you have the new song out. Are we getting more music
Oh yeah,
anytime soon?
oh yeah.
Oh,
So
my goodness.
you heard the new song. There's another song coming out later in the summer or later this year called "Wasted,"
Ooh.
which is a fun party record.
I feel like it.
And then to follow that, a couple more songs to make up an EP. After the tour, I'm trying to get back in the studio to write a few more to
Right.
try and complete a full album, but that would be probably not till next year.
Right. Well, you
but
don't want to force it either, right? Like, you want it to be as organic as it
Here's the
can.
thing, like there's no rules anymore, and I try to write the best songs I can and then put those out. And if I'm not going to force a full album
Right.
if the songs aren't up to snuff. So to me, like we can release one at a time. We can release 2 or 3 at once. I mean, it just depends on the quality, and to me, that's the most important thing, right?
Totally.
So,
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Yep.
When you go in the studio, do you have any like rituals that you do that you're like, this is my process, this is how I do things?
no, not really. I'm generally I don't like to start too early. I'm not like a real big morning person.
Me neither.
And also like singing in the morning is just not a fun thing to do. But so I get up. I'll go to the gym and then I go get my like coffee. That's sort of my daily routine.
Okay.
And then like I'll grab a bite and bring it to the studio, eat, and then sort of like write and eat. And I'm also just very comfortable. I wear like my house shoes and like my shorts and my sweats and
Like
just kind of
You
veg
just got to
out.
be in that comfortable vibe.
Gotta be in that comfy zone.
I get it completely. This is a super sidebar, but what are some workouts that you do? Like, what's your go-to in the gym?
So I do a lot of like high intensity stuff.
Nice.
I do a lot of I run every day. I run like 4 or 5 miles a day.
Dope.
Just for maintenance, and then I do a lot of like jump rope and cardiovascular stuff.
Nice.
Like burpees. You know what a burpee is?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, those aren't fun.
I work out myself and I like die after one.
Yeah.
Literally. So we got some questions
Sure.
from our AT&T Thanks app winners. I thought these were kind of cool, so I pick and choose.
Cool.
If you could tour with anybody, who would it be with? And also, well, we just heard the album part. He's working on a little something. But who could you tour with if you would want to?
Oh man, there's so many talented artists out there that I would love to tour with. I every time I run into my old friend Nick Jonas, it's always a blast. And he's a very talented guy, and I've known him for many years.
Definitely.
And I just always enjoy. We did a radio show not too long ago, and it was funny. We were trying to get back to Manhattan. This is a cool little story, and it was like the roads were really bad, and we were thinking of driving like 3 or 4 hours. And he's like, actually, he's like, I'm not driving because it's way too unsafe. He goes, we chartered a plane. You want to jump on my jet? So Jonas and I took a little G5 into Manhattan, which was a little fun. The two of us had a couple beers on the plane and just kind of flew in. He's just the nicest guy ever.
Oh, totally.
And then you know who I did a show with a couple months back, or a few months back? I think it was earlier this year, but Logic, who is an incredibly talented artist and super nice guy. I was talking to him backstage briefly, but you could just tell in just a few short seconds, like just a genuine dude. So it'd be cool to kind of work with some hip hop acts at some point too.
I could see you and Logic on a record, definitely.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let me see my next one. How old were you when you found your passion for music?
I was pretty young. I mean, I had a lot of encouragement from both my parents, who were both very passionate about music, and I think I was like 7 or 8, 7 when my parents said, like, hey, there's this community production of Oliver coming to the next town over at this little theater called the Irvington Town Hall Theater, sort of close by where I grew up. And do you want to audition for Oliver? And at the time, I had been listening to a lot of musicals. My family always played me, every Rodgers and Hammerstein musical over the years, and I just was familiar with all the music of every show and play, and so Oliver came through, and I was like, yeah, I know the music, but I was really shy, so they took me to the theater, and I watched all these kids get up auditioning for Oliver, and I was like, that's not right. They're singing this wrong. So I actually got up, and my parents stood next to me while I auditioned, and I ended up getting the role of Oliver at 7, and it was like a family production. So my mom was in the show, my dad was in the show. We kind of did it together as a fam.
That's awesome.
That's sort of my earliest memory of.
That's so much fun. What are you looking forward to most this year? For the remainder of the year.
I mean, just the release of this music, and just feeling the buzz around the country. Every night has been just unbelievable. To reconnect with the fans, or after a few years, and put out some new music. And feeling that reaction every night has been just super overwhelming, and I couldn't be happier.
I'm sure you missed it.
I missed it for sure. No, it's been a joy, and everyone is so cool. I've been meeting fans. Some of the fans flew in because they were like, we didn't know when you were going to tour again. I had a girl fly in from Taiwan. I had somebody fly in from South America, from all over Canada.
Wow.
There have been fans coming in from everywhere, and
That's
I'm just
so
like,
cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
I love that. I love this question. If you were a chair, who would you let sit on you? Celebrity, family, friend? She said, me, question mark.
If I were a chair, who would I let sit on me? Oh, man, that's tough.
Shout out to Sammy. Where are you? I love it.
Sammy, you can sit on me anytime.
Woo! Don't tempt her with a good time. Oh, my gosh. So I was kind of thrown off by this next question, but then I remember reading something that you've gotten into, smoking meats lately, brisket, ribs. So how do you smoke your meat?
These questions are taking a very interesting turn. How do I smoke my meat? Well, let me just say that it starts with a very good smoker.
And you have a couple at your house, right?
Yeah. My favorite is this big green egg that everyone's been using, and it's everyone's been using. It's a very it's a niche thing. I know it's a hobbyist thing, but I had some time off, and I started getting into it. I was I've been traveling around the country for so many years. I've had barbecue from all around the country, and barbecue is always one of my favorite things to eat. And I just started getting into it. My first thing I smoked were I think baby backs.
Ooh,
and
hungry.
and they didn't turn out too great. And it's one of those things where you have to sort of it's trial and error.
Yeah,
you
for
you
sure,
have to finesse
definitely.
your and temperature is very important. You have to maintain the perfect temperature. So, but brisket is known for being the absolute hardest, and I feel like I've finally, after about 20 briskets, I feel like
You've mastered it.
feel like I've mastered my brisket.
Oh my gosh!
And everyone loves my pork butt. So
I love it. All right. This is a good one. Do you appreciate your former teen heartthrob reputation, or would you rather just forget it?
No, I mean, listen, you can't scoff at what got you here to begin with, and people always ask me, you know, does it get boring playing songs like Beautiful Soul?
Right.
And the answer in short is no. I mean, that is one of the songs that brought me into the households of every, you know, young girl in America, and
Definitely.
to me, like that was, you know, how I got my start, and you know, that was my foot in the door, you know.
Definitely.
And so often people don't get that opportunity or that chance. So now it's come full circle, and when we play that song live, I actually play it as an encore, and it's
Love it.
the energy is like palpable. It's just, you can feel everybody. It hits them, and they're like, it brings them right to that point where they were when that song first came out. So no, I don't. I'm not bummed about it at all.
I like it.
History.
Definitely. Speaking of history, we have, you know, Wild. We've been around for a while,
Yep.
and you actually did our Wild Jam.
Yeah.
I think there's a poster of you in our hallway still, and I remember seeing that. I was just like, wow, and he's
Yep.
coming back. That's so cool.
That's it.
I love it. Now, I know the focus is the music right now.
Yep.
But are we going to get any more acting out of you?
Yeah, I mean, eventually. There's nothing in the pipeline at the moment, but you know, I try to do as many things as I can, but there's only one of me right now. And
Totally. Understandable.
I'm trying to, you know, this tour has been pretty full on and has demanded all of my time and attention, and of course this music as well.
Definitely.
And I really do want to write a few more songs. To back up what I already do have.
For sure.
And so really this year and probably next year will primarily be geared towards music.
Nice.
But you never know, like things change. My mind changes quite often.
It happens.
I'm always, you know, keeping everyone on their toes and trying to, like, you know, explore new artistic avenues, and there very well could be something that pops up that I want to try, but
Definitely.
Pretty sure though, like music is, you know, at the forefront for the moment.
I love it. Well, speaking of the music, you guys want to see him perform, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and get to going. If you want to see this performance, make sure you check it out on wild949.com. Thank you to AT&T. Thanks to the
Thanks,
Sound
guys.
Studio.
Thanks,
One
Sound
more
Studio.
time for Jesse.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get going.